I was here to take part in an ESRC funded seminar series that's looking at the impact of austerity measures on work-life balance issues.
We're looking at work-life balance from the perspective of the employee, and we're also looking at work-life balance from the perspective of the employer, what an employer can do to get a better work-life balance for their employees, what employees can do to maximise their work-life balance.
All the research, my own and others, shows that generally the UK, we work very long, often very unpredictable hours, and this is not good for your health, not good for family life.
In terms of work-life balance, whether this is going to improve for both men and women, I think as a society we have to reflect on how we organize our things, and that's why a seminar as today's is quite interesting to reflect on what are the different issues on the table.
It relates to gender in a number of ways. Traditionally, women have been the main users, if you like, of flexible working and work-life balance measures, and most of those have been around part-time and reduced hours work and around childcare and maternity. And increasingly what we're seeing is women hanging on to part-time work arrangements, and it used to be called the mummy track, so if you worked part-time you disappear off into a sort of career dead end.
When families have children, the women decrease their working hours on average with 4 hours, but they increase their unpaid working time by 24 hours. While for men, they also increase their unpaid working time, but only by 12 hours, so there is a really big gap.
The scope of pregnancy-related discrimination is huge in the UK. Statistics are suggesting that around 60,000 women a year are dismissed from their job because of pregnancy or maternity discrimination at work. Research has found us that there's a big litigation gap, and actually of those 60,000 it's estimated that only about 3% actually bring a claim to a tribunal, and that has implications for the individual not being able to actually get justice, and it also has implications for the economy because we're losing a huge talent resource.
Employers recognise that there's a pounds and pence benefit, and I think someone's put a cost to it about £4.62 per work-life balance initiative per hour.
Companies can make a difference, and worker-friendly flexibility kind of can have an impact on the motivation of workers, the engagement towards work. If they can combine their work with their private life, it usually has a positive effect in the long run, and it has to do with how governments create certain conditions and have legislation on parental leave and how parental leave is organized, how it's financed, whether it's financed at a particular percentage of your salary or whether it's flat rate, and this influences whether people are able to take it. The same thing has to do for childcare arrangements, and I think all governments in the European Union know that this is a very important element. However, the crisis has an impact on what choices they make. That's why we try to put these issues on the agenda to make sure they're very aware of cuts on these institutions would really have an impact on what happens for job sustainability and for people being able to enter and stay on the labour market.
Work-life is an issue for everybody and it impacts on everybody's life, and particularly with recent austerity measures and following the recession, there's been a huge impact on the ability of people to have a good work-life balance.